Hello, this is Laura Harless again, and time for my weekly blog. I hope you've been enjoying the previous ones, and I'd like to spruce them up a little bit, but right now this is kind of the best I can do. Hopefully, I can do something else a little more exciting in the coming weeks, but I think hopefully the topics will speak for themselves, and because there's things that we all go through, especially when we're in the middle of the plan or in the middle of our journey or whatever the case is. And you're going to encounter them throughout. So I'm hoping the topics speak for themselves without flashy graphics and stuff. But I would like to put some other stuff in at some point. But until then, I'm going to continue with the topics. This week's topic is basically roadblocks. And there's a ton of roadblocks you're going to encounter. I wish it was different, but unfortunately, it's not. Nothing in this life is worth having if you don't work for it. And believe me, this is something you will definitely work for. But there are roadblocks that come up. And I want to talk about three specifically. The reasons are these three, I think, tend to become excuses more than anything. And I really want to kind of deal with them and let you know some strategies to get over those roadblocks. So the first one is about going out to eat. Now, a lot of people use this as kind of an excuse to take off the plan and not get back on, unfortunately. Although we can have our days off, and I do encourage you to have a day off, especially when you first start, going out to eat is something that you're going to encounter even maybe when you're supposed to be on the plan. And maybe it's not convenient for you to schedule a day off every single time you go out to eat. So I want to let you know how I deal with that and some of the kind of quick fixes, I guess, that you can use to make sure that you still enjoy yourself but still stay true to your plan as much as possible. So with restaurants now, a lot of them are starting to put their menu items and especially their nutrition online, which is very, very handy. When you figure out where you're going, then get on the computer, do your research. Look up the menu items, look up the calories, look up everything that you can find about that particular menu item and make your choices before you go. Write them down if you have to. Stick to those choices. I know that's going to be the hard part because when you get to the restaurant, all that food looks so good and all of that stuff. You have your list. Stick to it. It's going to be good food no matter what, just as long as you stick to what you've decided before you go. Now, the thing with restaurant food, no matter how fresh, no matter how great the restaurant is, the thing about restaurants is they tend to load every single dish with a lot of sodium. And that's the thing. That's the kicker. That's the reason I try to stay away from it as much as possible, because that sodium gets into your body and it causes weight gain, mainly water weight gain. Because think about it, you're putting a lot of that salt into your body. What's going to happen? It's going to absorb all the water that you put in and it's going to cause water gain. Now, yeah, water gain is kind of the easiest to lose, but I don't like how it makes my body feel. So I try to stay away from restaurants, although when I first started my journey, yes, I did go out a little bit more. And again, you do want to enjoy life. If your friends ask you, you want to go out to dinner here, you don't want to say no just because you're on a plan. Like I said, you do that and it's going to derail you even further because you're not enjoying yourself. So definitely go out, have fun, but look up the menu items, look up what you can have, look up what fits with your plan, and have that plan when you go to the restaurant. And when you know you're going out, a lot of people will use this as an excuse too. Well, today's ruined, so I'm just going to eat whatever I want to today. And then today becomes tomorrow, becomes next week, becomes next month, and then you're done. Don't do that. If you know you're going out to eat, stick to the plan as much as possible that day. Eat your breakfast on plan, eat your snacks on plan, lunch if you have it. All of that eat on plan, and then your dinner have off if you want, or not off the plan so much as what you've planned to eat that fits. And definitely the very next day, get right back to your plan. Get back to it, work it, and that way you can minimize the damage. Now, usually it takes your body 72 hours to get back to fat burning mode once you've had a day off or something like that. So recognize that fact. You're going to be dealing with that. If you're like me and weigh every day, which by the way, you don't have to, it's not encouraged. But if you do, then you don't expect to see results for a little bit. So that's the first roadblock. Second roadblock is when you have a vacation or something planned coming up. Again, you want to enjoy yourself, but try to stick to it as much as possible. You want to have fun, you want to, it's vacation, it shouldn't be high stress, it should be a vacation. But be aware that when you get back and reality sets in, whatever you do on your vacation, you're going to be dealing with when you get back. Try to minimize it, try to fit in what works. Last time I had a real vacation because I went home last year, but when I say vacation, I mean you're going somewhere where, it's not as familiar or something like that. I went to Vegas the last time, and to be honest, I only gained like 3 pounds. One, it's Vegas because you're walking everywhere. I got in the most steps I've ever gotten in a day in Vegas, and it was like 30,000 steps. So I was working off everything I was eating. That kind of vacation, yeah, it's going to be easy to kind of stick to stuff. Vegas has some really great food though. So what I did in Vegas was I would eat a really not heavy, but like protein heavy breakfast. So scrambled eggs or anything like that I could get that had protein that would kind of keep me full. And then I would have my snacks, and then I would have whatever for dinner that something that I really wanted for dinner. And so I kind of kept to that. And like I said, with all of the walking and all of the other stuff I was doing, it really helped to keep that to a minimum. I wasn't stressing about it over much. I just did what I needed to do. It was because it was way after I started my journey. It was secondhand nature to know what my body could handle and what it couldn't. So I stuck to that. If you're in the beginning stages, it's going to be a little tougher, but you'll get the hang of it. Just don't beat yourself up over whatever happens. Get right back to it after you get back from vacation and just get back on track. But you can have a really great vacation and still control portion size, control what you're eating, and still have fun because, eat those foods that you want to eat. Just understand that's, you're going to have to deal with that at some point. So that's my tips for vacation. Just watch it and do the best that you can, and don't beat yourself up over what happens. Third is, and this is for the people that are in your life, there are a couple of kinds of people that can derail you. You have one type that means well, and they are not trying to be negative or they're not trying to derail you, but they can, because maybe they haven't had to go through their journey. They don't know what it's like to battle weight. Maybe they've never had to deal with that. Whatever the case is, these people can derail you without understanding that they're derailing you. And these are the kind of people that, you have a company party or something like that, and they're like, oh, you could have one of these, or you could have it's not going to bother you. You've been good for however long. It's not going to matter. It's not going to bother you. You're okay. You could have this. And they don't understand what they're doing. So they don't really get the fact that you don't want that, or you can't have that, or whatever the case is. And so with those kinds of people, the kind that mean well, it's really hard to tell them no, because they really do mean well. You have to get in the habit of telling them no. It's your life, your health, your plan. You know what you can or want to have in that moment. And so say no. Don't be sorry for it. I hear a lot of that too. No, I'm sorry. No, don't be sorry. This is your health. This is your body that we're talking about. Don't be sorry. You have absolutely nothing to apologize for. Just say, no, I would rather not, and leave it at that. And sometimes you'll still get pushback, but keep saying no. Learn to say no. It is the best thing you could possibly do for yourself. So those kinds of people, again, they mean well. They just don't understand what you're going through. The second type, unfortunately, they don't mean so well. And hopefully there's not that many people in your life like this. If there are people like this in your life, you may want to reevaluate, depending on what your goals are, depending on how you can handle them. I've had to cut some ties myself. So these people, either they see your progress and they're jealous of it and they don't think they can get their own results, or maybe they're not at a place where they want to start, or maybe they don't know how to start, or maybe they're in denial. I don't know. Whatever their issue is, it's their issue, not yours. And so when you see that negativity come out, when you notice that these people aren't really on board with your progress and they're really not cheering you on, and they don't have your best interest at heart, that's again when you need to kind of reevaluate this person and what they mean to you, and if you still want them in your life. Because these people, more so than the good-natured people, can not only derail you, they can really affect you psychologically. And without even trying that hard, because you're already in one of those places where if you haven't, especially if you're just starting your journey, you're kind of unsure and it's stressful and it's hard and all of that stuff. And these people can come along and just knock you the rest of the way down. So you really want to make sure that these people are handled. You will get to know very well the difference between the more positive and the well-meaning versus the negative and the not so well-meaning. You'll get really good at finding out who these people are. And so make sure that you understand the difference. The well-meaning people, once you start having progress, most of the time they kind of back off and they're like, well, whatever you're doing is working and I'm not going to mess with that. And so they understand at a certain point. It's like, well, I think you can, but you seem to know that you can't, so, we'll go with that. But the others, the negative, they don't ever get the message because they don't want to, for whatever their reason is. So get used to saying no, get used to trying to decide which of those people. Hopefully you will not have that many negative people in your life, but if you do, try to get them handled as quickly as possible so that you feel better and that your psychology isn't damaged by them. Okay, so that's this week's blog. Hopefully you found the information helpful. If you have any questions or want to know anything else, please let me know and I will definitely answer you. Until next week, have a great week and stay healthy. Bye.